So in the online discussion forum this week, you're going to see three different prompts. There's prompt A, prompt B, and prompt C. What you need to do is choose one of these prompts for your main post. So let's say you want to write your main post about question A. With question A, we're talking about multiple intelligence and learning styles. These are surveys or tests that you can take and find out your intelligence in terms of learning style, right? So these are two different things. Multiple intelligence is a theory developed by Gardner, and learning style is something total different than multiple intelligences. So if you go ahead and take these surveys in these websites, you'll be able to understand the differences. So it's a great exercise, and whenever we have a group of students that we first want to teach, we need to do needs assessment, right? And this is a great way of finding out their learning style, their intelligence type. So we can definitely create better assignments or instructional strategies for them. So let's say you have a group of students, and let's say you use this learning style inventory, and you found out that 70% of your students are visual learners. If that's the case, you may want to show more visual content when you teach your courses, such as videos, pictures, infographics, maps, and etc. Right? So it is important to know the learning style of the students that you're teaching, so you can definitely be more effective teacher if you adjust your teaching style. So that's prompt A. So in this one again, you do want to definitely include your results in your discussion post. Include your results. If there are any numbers or scores given to you, you may also include them, and discuss the importance of knowing the learning style from both perspectives, from the teacher perspective and from the student perspective. For prompt B, we're talking about digital divide. So you probably know what a digital divide is, but let's just repeat this information one more time. So now, I mean, we're living in 2017, so, and you may expect that everybody has high-speed internet and access to computers and technology, but that's not always the case. It's much better right now compared to 10 years ago, but still there are issues with accessing information, especially the internet speed or simply having access to computers. So that's the divide, that's the gap between the lucky people who has access to this information and technology and the people who don't have access. So it's the gap between the two parts of the continuum. So that's what we call digital divide or digital gap. So these two websites will give you more information about that, and we want to talk about the effects of digital divide in education. All right, so for prompt number C, we're talking about virtual schools. In this prompt, I'm giving you two samples. One is from Florida and the other one is from Texas. So these are virtual academies, and what they do, they replace the current traditional classroom-based face-to-face teaching K through 12 classrooms. Typically, they start as early as third grade. You're not going to see a virtual academy or online learning system or let's say online school for kinders, for first graders, second graders, but starting from third grade, you're going to see virtual academies are out there, and a lot of parents, especially parents who are homeschooling their kids, or for many other reasons, a lot of parents are using these services. These are actually public schools, and they are funded by the state, so they're accredited schools. So we want to talk about distance education here, distance learning for high school purposes mainly, or it could be for middle and elementary level as well. So do you think these type of schools are appropriate in your school district? Why or why not? And you want to discuss advantages and limitations of this type of distance learning. So as always, when you create your main post, reply to my post here at the bottom, and also go ahead and use at least one APA citation for your main post. When you do replies, you need to do two replies to classmates. um, you will need to, well, you can reply to any of the prompts. It doesn't have to be your topic. You can pick any topic you want. So you can reply to at least, you need to reply at least to 2 students. Technology project number 3. All right, this is about Web 2.0 applications. So before we talk about the project, let me give you brief information about what Web 1.0 versus 2.0. So when the first web started in 1993, we had web pages that were pretty much static. Uh, so let's consider, a big company at that time. Let's say AT&T or maybe a newspaper. So their websites at that time, when the first internet started, uh, were pretty much there to give us some information. So we were able to read information, but not necessarily contribute to the website, right? So it was kind of like an extension of a brochure, or it was an extension of their business card. Pretty much they were using these websites for telling us about their products, their contact information, and some other simple information. So the information was really static and it was not really changing a lot. So, and then it was only for reading purposes. So it was mostly read only. But later, when right about 2000 or a little after 2000, we had some other types of websites where we were able to contribute by commenting or posting information. So we were able to interact with the websites when we had Web 2.0 applications. So in Web 2.0, different than Web 1.0, we are, as users, able to not only read, but also write information. So the information is now 2 ways, right? So any modern website, such as, for example, Twitter, Facebook, or pretty much, you know, um, let's say any Google products are really Web 2.0 products because they allow us to create things on their websites. We're no longer just bounded by simple static website, but we can actually contribute, create things on those websites. So if a website is allowing you to do those type of stuff, that's what we call Web 2.0. The definition is not really 100% clear, but wikis, blogs are great examples of Web 2.0. And if the website is allowing you to share content, that's definitely an example of Web 2.0. So Wikipedia, for example, versus the traditional encyclopedia is a great example of Web 2.0. So what is Web 3.0? That's the future of the web. So in the future, the internet will be much more, I guess, artificial intelligent. So all of our, um, you know, uh, devices, including our fridges, our home devices like TVs, will be connected to internet, and then we will get a lot of individual focus when we run websites. So this is actually part of smart applications. So this is really coming up. It's something new. And again, the definition is not very clear for Web 3.0. It's really something that is in the works. But we kind of know what Web 1.0 is, and we have a good idea of Web 2.0. So the internet was actually crawling in the beginning. It started to walk, but in the future it's going to run. So what we're concerned in this assignment is Web 2.0 applications. So what I did here, I included 3 different links. And let's take a look at the second one. I think maybe the first one is not working. So this website is about tools for schools, and these are not regular tools. These are Web 2.0 tools. So as you can see, this is categorized by different areas such as image tools, music tools, writing tools, quiz and poll tools. So let's take a look at quiz and poll tools. So if you want to quiz your students, these are some of the tools that you can use. And you're going to see the name of the tool and its logo on the side. You're going to see a short description. So what you need to do here is you need to go ahead and choose one of these tools. It could be pretty much anything that you want. So it could be a map tool, it could be a graphing tool, a creativity tool, a writing tool, etc. So pick a tool that you ideally don't know how to use, so you can explore this tool, so you can learn some new information. All right. So once you pick your Web 2.0 tool, all right, what you need to do is prepare a slideshow. So this slideshow should be prepared either on Google Slides, all right. Well, I said Google Slides here, but you may also use PowerPoint online, but I will prefer Google Slides. So on Google Slides, prepare at least 10 slides, and each slide should count for 8 points. The first slide will be a title slide. You do want to include your presentation title, your date, and your name. For slide number 1, we want to talk about what is Web 2.0 and what are some of the examples. So you may include the information that I provided you, or you may do some more research on the internet, or read some articles and write about Web 2.0 in your first slide. For slide number 2, talk about the tool that you selected. You want to describe that tool, just some brief information, introduce this tool. In slide number 3, you want to give us the logo of this tool, a picture from the tool, maybe a screenshot of the tool, and include its URL, which means the web address. For slides 4 and 5, talk about how this tool works. So if necessary, open an account using this tool and describe how this tool works. We want to know the features, we want to know the capabilities of the tool. For slide number 6, find a video tutorial on YouTube. Again, you don't have to prepare this tutorial. It's pretty much any tutorial is acceptable. Some general tutorial about your tool from YouTube, and include that video in your slide. For slide number 7, you want to talk about educational uses of your tool. So let's say you picked Quizlet, which is a quiz tool, right? With Quizlet, obviously we can use Quizlet for classroom for assessment purposes. Talk about that. Also, Quizlet could be used for teaching language or some new vocabulary. So you can talk about that as well. So if you are using this tool already, you can talk about your applications. If you're not using this tool already, you can talk about what are some of the possible or potential ways of using this tool. For slide number 8, give us some sample practices that this tool can be used in your profession, and try to be specific in this section, in this slide. So an example I provided here, this tool can be used, for example, for recording observations in a science experiment, or for journal writing after a field trip. For slide number 10, for slide number 9, talk about advantages or strengths. For slide number 10, talk about the advantages or limitations of the tool, based on your opinion again. So some technical requirements, we're looking for at least one video and at least one picture within your slideshow. It could be in anywhere within your slideshow, but 2 of these needed, at least one video and one picture. You also want to insert slide numbers at the bottom, and you need to use one transition and one animation. What are the differences? Well, in Google Slides, it's easy to apply transition, and transitions are between the slides. So when you go from slide for example, number 1 to the next slide, slide number 2, if you see an effect on the screen, it would be the transition effect. So when you switch from one slide to another one, if you see an effect such as a fade in, fade out, or mosaic effect, or page curl effect, any of those effects are called transitions. Animations are different. Animations are within the slides. So in the slide, let's say you are having a title, and this title is moving, right? It's disappearing, it's moving, it's rotating, or any other object, your image, or maybe a clip art that you used. If that's moving within the slide, that's what we call animation. So we want to see an animation effect, and we also want to see at least one transition effect, right? So I'll also take a look at your creativity and visual design. So right here, I do have some, okay, this one is our class presentation. So, and we are able to edit this presentation. Let me show you what this is. All right, this is from my previous class, and I do want to continue editing this current PowerPoint slide. So what you can do here, I see maybe students are already placing their information here. Just make sure you're not going to delete the first slide here, and also do not delete the second slide. What you want to do here is open a slide for yourself. How do you add a new slide? Okay, right here I'm going to add a new slide. I'm going to click on plus sign. So a blank slide, and you need to include your name here. All right, so put your name down like this. And then what you want to include a paragraph of information of your tool. So because you're going to create a Google slide already, all you need to do is take information from your Google slide and summarize everything under one slide. So you do want to contribute to the class presentation with one slide. So in this slide, include a summary of your tool. Also include a logo or screenshot of your tool. Describe the tool, how it is used, possible applications, some major advantages and limitations. Just be careful in terms of not editing someone else's slide, not deleting someone else's slide, please. We had some instances in the past where someone deleted everybody's slide and it was a disaster. So make sure you will only play with your own slide. Do not mess up with someone else's slide because everybody can edit each other's slides. All right, and also do not change the presentation template, do not change the font style, colors, etc. Only change your slide or the characteristics of your own slide. So let's see some samples. These are some samples. This is by this student here. It's talking about Renaissance learning. This is about Edmodo. All right, this is about Quizlet. All right, so so what you need to do, place your slide at the top. So if you go towards the bottom, you're gonna see students from other classes already completed this assignment before. So, and you will get a good idea of what can be done, so you can do something similar. All right. So I see a lot of people use Quizlet. So here's Kahoot. So these are all Web 2.0 tools. So this resource will be very helpful for everybody in the class. Once we complete it, you can take this presentation and keep it for, or share it with your colleagues or teacher friends, etc. So everybody can benefit from this presentation. So one page of information needs to be inserted here from your own presentation. All right. So that's our class presentation. So when you submit your work, what you're doing is you're submitting a link. Again, don't forget to make your link public so I can access your link.